you were one of the many people that decided to take the whole Christmas on the couch and watch darts. Well, you were joined by a record audience of 4.8 million people tuning in to watch the 2023-24 World Darts Championship final between Luke Humphreys and Luke Littler. It's an amazing amount of people, and it's the most ever to watch a darts event on Sky, and of course people watch it all over the place, and of course everybody knows the story of the two Lukes and the whole lot. And so we decided tonight to take a quick peep, I suppose, in at the Kerry darts scene, of which it is quite vibrant, but from time to time it can be kind of quiet, I suppose. We decided we'd unearthed it, and we have a panel this evening. We have John McCarthy, captain of the Kerry darts team for this year. Paul Cronin joins us as well. He's chairman of the Kerry Darts Town League. Sally Reeves, ladies player with the Kerry Darts, and has played with every darts team in the whole of Clarny at this stage, because we were going through.
Go that far now, yeah. Just a long way back. Yeah, long way back. If
you're out there and you're looking for a darts player, Sally belong. And Murt Downey joins us, a late substitution, Castleinel man, but he's really a Bruston man, isn't he?
That's correct.
Absolutely. He's going to sing the song for us and all at the end. I don't know where to start or who to start with, but I'm going to start with John McCarthy, obviously captain of the Kerry Darts team. It might have come as a shock to me, but Kerry has a darts team?
Yeah, it can surprise many, I suppose. Most Kerry people in sport are used to using their feet to get to a good head in sport. But no, Kerry Darts has been going now for a significant time. It's had some good success in Munster, and yeah, there's many throwers around north and south that are quite enjoying the game of darts in Kerry currently. Yeah,
and of course it's gas, because obviously darts to me would be a very individual sport, and you kind of turn up and play with your club or your pub or your business on a night and the whole lot. But to think that there's an inter-county aspect to it obviously is kind of exciting as well, and it's a development step as well for a lot of good darts players.
Yeah, for sure. Like county darts has been around for a while, but a lot of players, when they are playing locally, are only used to that. But the good thing now is that county darts has got such popularity in the last maybe 5 to 6 years that people now know that they can play for their county, and yeah, the experience of going up to playing in All-Ireland with your county is definitely second to none, and thankfully us here at the table, we've had that experience. Yeah,
and you were in action at the weekend?
We were up playing the Munster Championship in Newcastle, where we took home the shield, beating Waterford 7-0 in the final. So yeah, good result, and with the All-Irelands now next February, it's a nice little stepping stone, a bit of momentum, and yeah, we're hoping to bring Kerry back their first ever All-Ireland in February.
Absolutely, and not only have we a men's team, we have a ladies team, Sally.
Certainly have, yeah. It's going from strength to strength.
Explain the ladies section. Obviously, I mean, we're watching it, and ladies sports is kind of developing and growing and the whole lot, and again, I suppose in many aspects it follows on behind the men's sport, but in the darts world it's equal in that sense.
We never follow behind. Yeah. Very much so, yeah. And our Kerry ladies panel has increased so much over the last few years. We've gone from sort of just having barely scraping through sort of 7 or 8, 9 players. We need 7 for a team. To now having a panel of sort of 17, 18, 19 ladies coming from Cahersiveen, Kenmare, out County Bounds, Cork Way, so really growing strength to strength, and everyone from we've broken a record this year because we have 3 generations of ladies all playing on the Kerry team.
Oh wow!
We have Maureen, Tanya, and McCormick, and Clodagh Moriarty, who is Maureen's granddaughter, who's just started with a 16. She played her first county game on Saturday in Newcastle West. Super to see it happening, So it's all ages, it's everybody, and we are just. We seem to have so many ladies at the moment that are interested in joining. So what we're just saying to people is come along to the trials, find out where we are, come along, join in. It's fun.
Yeah, and Mort, it is a type of game, to be fair. You just need 3 darts and off you go. I mean, obviously you get better and better while you get practicing the whole lot, but it's not a big entry-level sport.
Well, we don't all start off as good as Luke Little, I put it like that too. You'll start at any level, and there will be a competition for every level available. I mean, there's competitions from Listowel to Tralee, Killarney, and the different standards in leagues and different league tables, different Division 1, Division 2. You'll find a place to play if you want to play darts, and there's no better way to socialise than a game of darts.
And I love the way people say play darts, because obviously in most sports they compete and the whole lot, but it seems to have that social aspect of it as well, Mort.
Oh, very much so. Like John will tell you there, we'll be the highest rivals on a board in any tournament, but when you put a county jersey or come together for like we'll say even a bar team for a league, you're the best of buddies, and go out again the following day. You'll be playing with a fellow on a Friday night and against him on a Saturday, but always the best of friends.
No shouldering or no talking or...
Not really, no.
Not really. He didn't say no, he said not really. Come here, before we get county teams, obviously we need competitions to play in, and the Clarny Darts Town League, it's going quite a while. I'm joined by Paul Cronin. How long are you there now?
We started in 1998, Donal. So yeah, if you take out COVID, I suppose we're going, is it 21? This could be 22 years.
Yeah.
For something that we thought might only last 5 or 6 years, we're getting a good run out of it.
And you're only getting your second win now?
Yeah, this is about the third or fourth win. I keep threatening to retire or trying to pull back, but for some reason I'm still here. So,
but there must be fierce excitement about it, because I work in a school, obviously, presentation man in Killarney, and for a certain time of the year, there's a conversation about darts at the table. Obviously, you know, they're playing in the various competitions and the whole lot. How much and how hard is it to organise that, or is it because it's so successful, fellas are flocking back to play it again the following year?
I suppose, to be honest, the biggest eye-opener we had was actually COVID. When COVID was here, and obviously there was nothing happening, we were a bit slow getting back to get started, and we didn't really know if the interest was going to be there. So when we did start, we were actually very, very surprised, especially how many new faces were there. Fellas that we hadn't realised were actually into darts. A younger generation were after coming back into it. It was simply the social aspect of it as well. An awful lot of it was the social side. So it has come on leaps and bounds actually since, and it is getting bigger and bigger.
You play darts yourself?
Unfortunately, yeah, I try.
What was your entry to darts? I'm going to ask you all the same question, obviously, because I mean, I asked this question before with other darts people, and some people said, look, it was my grandfather out in the shed giving me this, or I followed my father to the local bar, or whatever it was at various times. Different fellas have different entry points. What was your entry to darts? Where did you find darts?
My entry to darts was actually my grandparents' house.
Oh, stop.
They had 13 kids altogether, but I think 11 of them, I think, played darts.
Wow.
So every Sunday, there was a major competition in the house on a Sunday. So I literally started, I think it was 8 or 9 when I actually started throwing. So yeah, I'm throwing with a bit. Yeah.
And of course, the other side of the throwing, obviously, it's not an easy enough sport. There's obviously the counting and the mental side of it, which is a huge aspect to it.
Yeah, massive. Like you would see beginners starting, and within a year or two, you can see their maths have come on an awful lot, their subtraction. Whereas before they had to stop to look to see what they were going for. Now they can just automatically go for it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic for kids like that. Look at Luke Littler. I didn't see him stopping once trying to work out what he had.
No, the only time he stopped was he was in trouble, and he wasn't in trouble too often. John, the same as yourself. Obviously, you're not there 100 years playing it. Where did you start it?
Yeah, I'd love to have a story where from a young age, I just had love for it. But as a college student, when a mate approached me and said, "You can go to the New Bar on a Monday night and throw some darts for the club," it was a fairly easy yes. But then after a couple of years, I actually started to grow a bit of a bug for it. As was mentioned earlier, the kind of social element you get and the camaraderie, and there's even friends from UCC that are still some of my best mates to today. I just loved it, and then thankfully decided to play with Kerry, and yeah, it's been 6-7 years now, and it's
what's the attraction, what's the bug? Obviously the social side of it, but I mean, do you find that after a while it is a social thing, but God knows I'm not bad at this now, to be fair, like I did, and you know, I mightn't be able to play football, or I mightn't be a great hurler, I mightn't be a great bowler or whatever, but God, I'm quite good at this.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it depends on that competitive bug that you get. Like, so we'll say I would have played football for 2 years, and like when you beat your man on the field wherever you're playing, you get that kind of like satisfaction of that. It's tenfold playing darts because you're playing an opponent pretty much every 15-20 minutes, and when you start kind of getting wins under your belt, you start like enjoying it a lot, and then you have those kind of drives to get into teams, to go further and win leagues, to win singles competitions, to make your county team. So it's very, very quick natured, where like these wins and competitions come up so often that you can kind of get that satisfaction, but unfortunately as well the dissatisfaction of losing out in some games or competitions as well. But you got to take the positives and negatives as well to be fair.
Absolutely. Only one man can win it, or one woman can win it. Your entry, Sally?
Well, I played league darts in the UK way back when, long time ago.
In the days of Bully.
Yeah, probably just before that. No, and our league was actually darts and dominoes.
Oh yes.
Played in the UK, so you played a darts match and then you played a dominoes game, and you know so you did it was like a dual sport, if you like. You know, and then I moved to Ireland in '92. So I played in Limerick in the Town League, and then I came here in '97, and I've been playing darts in or around Killarney for, I think, '99, Paul, would it have been?
Yeah, 99, I think you joined us.
Yeah, not far off, so. Yeah, and then I joined the Kerry ladies about 5 5 years ago.
Yeah. Sally, the attraction of darts, I mean, go back to the UK, obviously it's a huge sport in the UK, it's growing in Ireland, and it's actually growing internationally, and we'll talk about that maybe later on as well with the amount of, I suppose, new faces, new flags in the World Championships, and it's amazing that anybody can kind of qualify along a route. Fantastic. It's a huge sport in the UK.
Massive, yeah, and growing all the time, I think. You know, a lot of us aren't built to play soccer or football or hurling, do you know? And it's something you can play, you can succeed at, you can enjoy, and it's very much you know, the team spirit, and you know, like John was saying earlier, you can be playing with someone 1 minute and against them the next, and it's all done in the it's all sport, it's all good fun, you know.
Mort Brosna, darts. What age did you start up there?
I started trying
about 4?
when I was 6 or 7. My father, Willie, a lot of us did when I was young, but he was an avid dappler. He used to go almost every weekend. There was a tournament in Abbeyfield in what used to be the Palace Inn.
Oh, yeah.
And there used to be a tournament there. He played singles, and he also played doubles with his brother Jonjo, who's still around. And they were pretty good dapplers. And like your story about the board in the shed, that's how we started as young fellas.
Yeah. And can you remember, obviously vividly, as a 6 or 7 year old sitting up on a stool somewhere watching a big darts game with your late father?
I can remember going to him when I was about 9 and telling him I was after scoring 1, 3, 4. He asked me how I did it, and I think it was triple 18, triple 16, double 16. He said very scattered darts.
Oh, no way. He was a true professional.
Do it right and don't do it wrong.
Oh my God, 1, 3, 4 wasn't such a bad one to check out on.
Wouldn't be offered that, we know that.
No. Paul, the growth of darts, and I suppose the support of, I suppose clubs are different. Obviously we talk football and you have your various clubs. A lot of clubs are businesses and they're vital to growing the game as well.
Yeah, like obviously we're based in Killarney, and we've been so lucky over the years. The support that we get from the local bars is absolutely phenomenal. Every year, anything we ask for, they will provide. No questions asked. We try to give a little bit back, obviously.
Of course.
As with finals and things like that. And thank God this year now we have a new main sponsor again, the Arbutus Hotel. So we'd like to say thank you for them this year for coming on board. But yeah, they've been fantastic all through the years. Like when we started, I think we had 6 teams, I think the very first year. It was kind of a done thing that time that the bar would provide maybe a little bit of food or sandwiches or something on the night. But then they started to give you a free drink.
Okay.
Because they were happy for the business as well, obviously. And it just kind of carried on. Like I said, we're nearly 25 years later, and that free drink is still going around.
Somebody's picking it up somewhere.
Yeah.
The whole darts aspect, though, I mean, entry level and the whole lot, Paul. I mean, I'm sitting at home tonight and I'm listening and saying, God almighty, I never thought my son could play football, this, that, but God, he might play darts. Or the dart board arrived at Christmas time. I mean, Santi was a very busy man, the whole lot. Where can you enter? Where you can find out? I mean, obviously you're the Killarney side, but obviously there's a county aspect.
Yeah, there is, of course, county. Social media has been fantastic for darts over the last few years. Obviously, nearly everyone now has a mobile phone, so Facebook is huge, huge. So it's very easy to find fixtures, where they're on. Like the lad said, there's always Kerry trials nearly every couple of weeks now. There's actually a Kerry trial. It's very easy just to turn up on the day. You register and that's it. Very, very simple. Like that, the Killarney League, mad looking for players. Every pub is always looking for players. So anyone that's willing to give it a go, just call into any place.
So if I'm an individual and I can play darts and I've arrived back from the UK, or I'm a college student who's never played before, I could rock up and some guy will put me on a team and off we go.
Quite literally, just ask the guy inside the counter and he will put you the right way, because every one of them knows about it.
Brilliant, absolutely. And of course that I suppose, Sally, that's the kind of welcoming aspect of a sport that it might be there in other sports, but it's certainly there in darts. I mean, it seems to be a very friendly, welcoming. You see them, I suppose, the big welcome when they walk up, everybody's clapping for them. And there's that kind of great support.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of ladies this year coming up from Carsavine. And, you know, they've come up, 1 or 2 have heard about us, they've come up. And
it's a great part of the world now, Sally, so don't be upsetting the Carsavine people.
We love them, what can I say? They came in and they walked in through the door and they said, well, we've wanted to come, but we were a bit, you know, we didn't know what sort of reception we'd get and everything. And I said, look, if you're here for an absolutely deadly serious, never smile game of darts, you're in the wrong place.
All right.
Because it's a team game and it's all about, you know, getting to know each other.
Explain the team function, how the team sport works. Obviously, we're watching the darts on the telly and it's one guy versus another guy, or one guy against a woman. But the team aspect is how's that work out?
The way the team works is so for the ladies there's 7 and for the men there's 13, plus you've got your subs, 2 or 3 subs. And everybody goes up and plays their game, and the reason it's a team sport is because it's the best of so many games.
Okay.
So if we play 7, realistically, we need to win 4 to win that competition, if you like. Yeah.
And you would mix them, obviously. You'd have singles games, you'd have doubles games, and that's the way to...
You would in the town league, absolutely. Not so much in the county games.
You'd be separate.
It would be singles, but you're playing as a team, so all the games count.
Fair enough, yeah. So it's kind of Ryder Cup-esque in a sense that you play for your point, and then the next game plays for their point.
And everybody plays their own game, but at the same time, everybody swaps and changes. So if you've got 9 players and there's 7 games, we'll all take it in turns to play.
Yeah,
you know?
And the interest must get bigger and bigger as the night goes on, because the first
massive.
game gone, the second game gone, might be 2-1 or 3-1. There's probably a lot more pressure on you playing last, is there, if it's 3-all maybe?
I guess.
Yeah.
But the way we do it, because the men and the women would be playing in the same place. So if we finished our games, we'd go and support the men, and if the men have finished, they'll come and support the women. So it's real kind of, we'd be standing on chairs and come on, and it's really good. Really good.
Flags and bunting and everything. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, stay with us because we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back again. We have another good 15 minutes to talk about the darts. My guests this evening are John McCarthy, Paul Cronin, Sally Reeves and Murt Downey, and we'll take a quick break now. Now you're listening to Terrace Talk, and of course we're talking about darts this evening, and of course we're talking about the Kerry aspect of things as well, and we're in the company of Sally Reeves, John McCarthy and Murt Downey, as well as Paul Cronin. We're going to binge Paul Cronin now for a while. I think, God, we're sick of talking about Clary now at this stage. We might concentrate on Kerry again. John, there's actually a huge youth wing to it as well.
There's a new school after opening called Kerry Youth Start School by one of the INDO committee members, Christopher Curran. And the best thing about this, obviously, as seeing Luke Littler and what he's done and the interest that's going to drive it, young players around Kerry and around the world, it's a school where kids from a level of 0 can attend and they can actually learn how to play. So not only can they come to play people around their own age, but they're actually taught about what's the right way to stand, the right way to throw, and it's a really nice way of actually bridging into the game for young players around Kerry.
Mm-hmm. And where can you get information on that?
So if you go again on Facebook, there's a page for the Kerry Youth Darts, and as well just adding Christopher Curran. It's running the stall weekly, which is quite good. As well, the one other thing to call out, we do have our final trial coming up on the 3rd of February. Which will be on in the Crown and Castle Island. So for anyone listening who wants to give it a go and potentially get a Kerry jersey on their back, they're more than able to attend, which will be quite interesting.
What's the standard then? Like, you go out, you represent Kerry, you're taking on Cork and Tip and Waterford and the whole lot. What's that level?
It's fairly high, and it's getting higher year on year. So there's now more competitions, more than ever, especially after COVID, to play in locally, which means that players coming up to the All-Irelands is quite strong. And for some of your listeners who might be into darts a bit and with no averages, you'd probably be up in the 70s and 80s, which wouldn't be too far away from the TV now. But there's some cracking players playing for a lot of counties, including Kerry, and there's actually a good selection gone over to try and get their tour card from today. So a lot of players have travelled over to the UK from today until end of week trying to get their PDC tour card.
Yeah, and of course the tour card is kind of the first step on the road to all the big stuff.
It is. So, and as we discussed about the entry to darts being like quite nice and quite open, any player can play it. So you pay £450 sterling, and it's a 4-day competition. And if you're good enough, if you're in, I think there's 12 cards being given out. And if you're one of those 12, you're now a professional dart player.
Mm-hmm. And off you go then.
Off you go.
Fingers crossed, and you get a good draw. Come here to me, Sally. Are you amazed at, I won't say the growth of darts, because obviously you're inside that circle, but the phenomenal amount of people talking about darts, obviously every Christmas when we're watching it on telly and the whole lot, and we're all great supporters, and we probably don't want to play it, but we love watching it, and we get enthralled into the whole thing. I mean, the likes of Luke Littler, what has he done for the sport?
Amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing, how good he is for his age, really, isn't it? And absolutely everyone's talking about it. But also there's a lot of, you'll see people suddenly start buying dartboards and darts. People going into shops going, right, okay, we've got to get one now and we've got to start playing. And that's where it starts. It starts from the parents buying them for children for Christmas, and the interest I think it just builds. And for me, I have 2 teenagers, and maths for me is the best. Darts and maths, it's the best way of teaching anyone maths because it's fun. And they'll teach every aspect, they'll learn every aspect of maths, because you have to be able to multiply the doubles and the trebles.
That's right.
Add them to the rest of the score, take them away from 501, and then work out what's that finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very good, yeah. But it's just someone like Luke Littler is just it just builds on, and youth darts now is just gonna be amazing.
Explode. Murt, any trouble with your adding and counting and subtracting, or did you get better over the years?
When I'm able to add it up and make out what I've left, but the actual finish of it with 3 darts, it's the difficult part, I'm afraid.
Speak about that part of it, obviously, because to the amateurs of the world who watch it, like you get from 501 sometimes down very fast, and more times you're struggling for 45s and whatever in between. The actual finish, I mean, you're sitting at home and you're throwing a double 20 at your ease. Is it harder when you have 9 fellas and Kate Pats or somewhere watching you?
There is pressure on that, definitely.
And where does it come from? Is the fact that you're afraid you're going to miss it, or is it a mental thing, or how do you draw on it?
Well, if you're playing a singles game, you're playing for yourself, but you're playing a county game, you're playing for your team, and then the pressure is you're not just winning a leg for you, you're winning a leg for your county.
Yeah. And when you miss the first one and you have 3 darts to get a double 10 or something, and you end up then shooting a 5, and then you have to go a 1 and a double, whatever. And are you at that stage? Is there something in the head saying, "God, you're going to miss this now as well. You're going to miss the next one"?
Well, you can get to a certain point where if you were there for the night, you wouldn't hit it. But some nights they'll go the first one. It's just like you'll get 4 nights of form and you will not miss a double. More nights you wouldn't hit one if you had 20 darts.
And when you're sitting at home and you're watching the likes of Luke Humphries, who, God, he was pretty flawless, to be fair, like he was shooting the lights out. But he barely made it over the line in the quarterfinal against Cullen, was it? He went to the final thing, he was pushed all the way, and obviously he got momentum as he went along. But when you're looking at the likes of him and you see him missing 3 darts for a double thing, are you saying, well, yeah, it just proves he's fairly human?
They still have to stand back 7'9"1/4" from a board and throw it, and it's a small area when you're aiming at it, and the more the pressure is, the smaller the area he gets.
Yeah.
It's an optical illusion that on the board when you're watching it on television how big the dartboard looks, but if you take a real dartboard in a real scenario, it doesn't look as good or as big as it does in the television.
Absolutely.
We're still 7'9" back with a piece of tungsten that's anything from 19 to 30, or in Shane McCormick's case 42 grams weight, that you have to put into a pinpoint.
Yeah. And do you have all your own darts then? I mean, do you have your own particular dart?
Yes.
Manufactured set that you like to play with, you wouldn't share?
I've probably the same style of dart with 30 odd years.
Yeah.
Wouldn't change.
And is there a different style? Because I see Brendan Dolan, for example. I mean, he tends to be, I won't say old-fashioned because I'm looking at the outside, but he tends to take it nice and easy and calm, and he throws the whole lot. Whereas a lot of younger fellas they're fairly, everything seems to go all right.
With somebody, not saying Brendan Dolan or anybody in particular, but the slowing down can be a tactic.
Oh, so you're kind of unintentionally upsetting the next fella coming up.
His rhythm. But
yes.
like every fella has their own style. As you see, Brendan Dolan, there was like Luke Littler, Ricky Evans, control 3 darts in 3 seconds.
Yes.
And score well with them. He's a professional at that. Like, you don't want to go back to, what was Martin Pipe, was it?
Martin Pipe, Justin Pipe.
Justin Pipe. It could take 3 minutes to throw 3 darts.
Oh, stop it. Fair play. Do you remember growing up with John Lowe and Eric Bristow on the TV?
Well, not personally, but yes, I did. Yeah.
But they were the big names at the time. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, and if you look back at the old footage now,
they were our idols.
The cigarette was in the hand, and
our era.
And they were the people that kind of influenced people in and the whole lot. And it became a big sport, and people know about it. And I joked earlier about bullying, but I mean, obviously, that was on our television screens as well. And everybody.
It's still on. I still watch it.
Is it still?
Yeah.
He was telling mad jokes. I don't know what half the jokes that he was telling then.
Stay out of the black and into the red. There's nothing in this game for 3 in a bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, God almighty. Didn't think that'd ever be on Terrace Talk. Come here, Paul Cronin. It's a great competition to be in. It's a great sport to be in. We said earlier that there's an easy enough entry into the whole lot. And there seems to be no age group that you can start or even end.
No, to be fair, like Dale, that we all know, plays Kerry darts. His grandfather was, I think, in his 90s, was it? And he was throwing as good as any guy in his 30s, I can assure you. Wow. You'd earn your stripes against him. So yeah, it keeps fellas young, actually. I think a lot of them. Actually, the guy that actually taught me how to play originally, besides my grandparents' place, he was definitely in his 80s, and he was as solid as any fella. So yeah, I wouldn't rule anyone out, to be honest.
So when you step up to the...
You step up to the hockey.
So throw it in and you look across and you think your man's 84, don't be fooled.
Yeah.
He's been throwing darts for 60 years, so he obviously knows what's going on.
He'd be the one leave at the end of the night with a few quid in his pocket, whereas I was watching.
And of course, Mort, it's a game that hasn't changed over the years. It's still a dartboard and darts. I mean, a lot of sports, the balls get lighter or heavier, or the bets get stronger or wider, the whole lot. It's still just darts, though it was played in the 50s, 60s.
Well, the boards have changed, as in they're razor wire, and they're probably better standard, larger scoring areas, but it's still the same area with that board, same distance, and you have to throw it. It's the precision, it's the hand-eye coordination. Like, when you go to professionals, they're spending probably 5-6 hours a day practicing to get to that level.
Wow. The practice to get on the Kerry team, to sustain it, to keep going, the whole lot, obviously people will enjoy what they're doing, but would you spend hours at home now trying, or how's it work? You don't have to break any secrets or anything, but the amount of training to get to a certain level.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's similar to other sports where at the start in particular, there's a lot of time you'll put in, and the amount of time you put in at the start will let you know kind of what level you can get to. And for sure, to start, I would have put in as a college student coming home from college,
loads of hours.
You know, not much responsibility. So a good bit of time was put in. But it's down to the individual, like any sport. It's the individual. Do you want to play for your county? How far do you want to get? So nowadays, I try and put in an hour a day as best as I can. But the lucky thing is with the Clarny League now and with Kerry County Trials, you've competitive darts maybe twice a week, 3 times a week to play, and even there's a lovely competition in Kilcommon with the ADC, which gives us a chance of actually making TV as well with the Modus, which is quite cool. So we could play it 3 times a week. So you're getting that competitive, like proper practice, and then they practice at home, which is quite handy.
Mm-hmm. And it's the kind of sport that at different times of the year you can play professionals. I mean, they are on tour and they turn up in the most amazing places and the whole lot. What's that like? Yeah,
so you'd have an exhibition circuit, so a lot of players playing it. So I've played bunting back in Tramore. There used to be a great festival. It was the first year he was in the Premier League, and to be fair, no, he beat me quite handily. But it was quite fun. It was a great experience. So like meeting these guys, and even I was over in Bristol with Dale McCarthy and Dave Stack. We qualified to go over, and Terry the Bull Jenkins, if you might remember him, he's still playing the amateur circuit, and I had a great chat with him, and we had a great practice. So it is really cool to see these people that we would idolise or seen like on TV, and be able to play beside them, practice beside them, and try and nick a leg or two, or maybe have less than 200 points maybe on the board while they're fading their way down.
Absolutely amazing. And of course you mentioned Carsveen earlier. Back in the day before Phil won his, 600,000 titles that he won every year, he actually played in Carsveen, and he played in Tom's Tavern. And I think the one night, it was like there was a queue of people coming in around the door, and he was playing, and nobody took a set off him, but the closest to him actually on the night was PJ Donovan from Carsveen. He became a counsellor afterwards. I don't know whether he left one win or whatever, but he was as close as he got to him. With a lot of great darts players. Listen guys, I enjoyed the chat. It was absolutely fantastic. John, the very best of luck with all the Kerry career, as with yourself, Sally. You're not transferring to any other club now. You're happy where you are.
I'm happy where I am. Thank you very much.
You have the contract negotiated and everything. Mort, fair play. Keep up the good work. And Paul, I suppose you should be set for retirement, should you?
Yeah, getting close enough to it now.
Sorry, could I mention the tournament's on this Friday evening, the Slieve Mission Tralee? It's in memory of Gerard Nibs Lammock, and all proceeds will be going to the Irish Cancer Society. It starts at 5 o'clock this Friday evening, the Slieve Mission Tralee. Great student pub back in the day. Or maybe it's still a great student pub, is it?
I think it's still doing well in that regard, all right.
Good stuff, absolutely. Listen guys, thanks very much. The very best of luck. You're doing fantastic work, and we won't leave it as long again before we talk about darts.
Sure.
Absolutely. We know where you are now anyway. I might even turn up with my left hand now someday and try throwing them. We'll take a break.